Hi everyone, we are so excited to share this video with you. Many parents of young children with DLD or suspected language disorder are very fearful about the future. As parents ourselves, we wanted to speak to that place of anxiety.
So we gathered a list of questions from you guys, our community, who are still in the early days of parenting a child struggling with communication. So thank you to all of you who sent in your questions. They really helped guide our conversation.
Today, we're talking with Stephanie and Mika, a mother and her teenager with DLD. In this interview, you'll see that about 10 years ago, Stephanie felt the exact same way many of you feel. She spent her days with young Mika very concerned about the future.
So we hope that by listening to their story, you will be encouraged and filled with hope for your child's future. Enjoy!
We're excited to hear a little bit more about your story and whatever you'd like to share with us. So do you want to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself? Maybe you told us your age. Do you have pets or interests?
Where are you from?
I have one dog, Harley. She's in the room with my sister right now.
Aw.
Yeah, I'm from Dublin, born and raised. I love to read like a lot and art. Yeah,
Awesome. Awesome.
Very
yeah.
good. Yeah. Do you want us to tell? So we know you have DLD, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that journey? So when did you find out about the DLD, and kind of support that you've had?
We were about 4, you found out. Fall when we found out.
Oh, wow. So it's recent.
No, 4.
No,
Oh,
4.
Sorry. So sorry. I thought you said in the fall. Sorry. 4. Wow. So, Mama, you were on it.
Yeah, there's 22 months between Mika and their older sister, so I knew something wasn't right from kind of like 16, 17 months onwards. Was a lot of babble, no words whatsoever, but their sister could understand the baby babble.
Okay.
And then we went for an assessment when they were 2, but we were told come back when they're 4 because like we have like a real lack of services in Ireland at the moment. So we went back when they were 4 and it was diagnosed then.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. And then were you given some support at that time?
A lot of speech therapy, and then we went to mainstream school then when we were 5, wasn't it? Yeah,
so.
they started mainstream school when they were 5. They struggled a lot in mainstream school, and then the speech therapist told us about going to an speech and language unit for 2 years.
Wow.
So they went to get the speech and language unit for 2 years. I think you were 7 when you went there, and made a hell of a difference. Went back to school, mainstream school, was completely different child.
Wow.
Oh, incredible.
That's amazing. And do any of your other children have DLD?
No.
Okay.
Is it just the 2 kids in the family?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
2 kids.
awesome. 2 girls. Awesome. Janine has 4 kids.
Yes. So it's busy.
And
None of mine were quite that close. I think the closest was 24 months. So yeah, they were pretty close together in age. And I bet that was really helpful in noticing some difference with the communication milestones. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I've got a lot of family that would have kids quite like similar to Mika and our sister's age. So like a lot of people were kind of saying something's not right there. We did go see like one crowd, like a psychologist, and he said it was autism. So I just did that, and then when she went back to speech and language when she was 4, they were like, no, it's not autism, it's developmental language disorder. Now she has got developmental coordination disorder as well, so she has got DCD, but it doesn't really affect it, does it?
Not really.
No.
yeah, not really. And then, so Mika, tell us a little bit about like your experience growing up in, let's say, elementary school, middle school, and then or because you're currently in high school, right?
Yeah.
What has that been like? Have you been able to communicate with like your teachers? Um, any like resources you would need, or yeah, just tell us that's been like.
When I was younger, I used to like not really be talkative. Like I used to always be by myself, and like I didn't talk to anybody. But like over the years, I got more like confident, and I have been more talkative.
Mm.
And yeah, a lot of times it's people don't understand me. It's kind of like only like a few times people don't understand when I'm speaking.
Well,
Okay, so it's been a
Yeah.
journey for you. Yeah, what about academics? Did you find that there were certain areas that were harder for you at school? Certain things
Well,
that,
yeah, she struggled an awful lot with Irish.
okay.
Yeah, I don't.
So and it's very hard to get an Irish exemption, but we eventually got it when she went to secondary school.
Be fault.
So
nice. Nice.
she struggled with Irish, like, so she got the Irish exemption. Everything else, no, she's
Yeah.
absolutely fine in school. She gets like the highest grades in English in her class.
Yeah.
She has got a laptop though in school instead of pen and paper, so she does do everything on a laptop, which will be like an additional requirement. But yeah,
I don't use it for like the junior stuff though.
What was that, Mika?
oh yeah, they've just done their state exams, so she's saying she didn't have a laptop for the state exams. She's just done the junior cert.
Okay.
Wow,
Okay.
wow. So we're oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. Oh no, I was just saying, so the resources, like, did the teachers know how, like, were they familiar with DLD? Did you feel like that was quite a fight, or were they open to, um, yeah.
Not till she got to secondary school. There was
Wow.
um they tried in the primary school, but they didn't try kind of
No,
like
they didn't try hard enough.
they didn't try hard enough. One teacher now, sorry, in primary school that she had for the last 2 years would have
Oh, she was
really kind of,
amazing.
she was quite an older teacher, so she would have really kind of done a lot of work with her. But when she went to secondary school, I contacted the secondary school to tell them she had developmental language disorder, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we have a few kids here, and we have a few kids that have gone to the unit that she was in." So she went straight up, and all the resources were put in place for her. She's
Wow.
in nearly every club going in school, aren't she? She's in drama club, done like school plays and everything, which would have never happened in primary school. So the
Wow.
confidence in secondary school like is growing every single day.
That's incredible. Very, very good. And I'm so glad to hear that those teachers were familiar with it, because so many teachers aren't. And so it gives me hope that the word is getting out there as time goes on, right? More people are familiar with it, but it's still a pretty big problem with not knowing. So you mentioned a unit. Was that the unit she was in when she was a lot younger, or was that in secondary school?
For 2 years in primary school, but a lot of children in our secondary school have attended that unit. It takes 14 children every 2 years.
Okay.
So it's like 14 children for the whole north side of Dublin, which is a lot of children. So the number 14 is very little. So she was very lucky to get a place in the school. And then when Mika, we're in the process of changing our name, so I keep saying Erin. When Mika was in the unit, it was a lot of the children in the unit speech was a lot better than Mika's. Mika had the understanding a lot better than they would have had the understanding. So your understanding was a lot stronger than their understanding. So at the time, a lot of their speech was a lot better. But when we came out of the unit, it was like Mika's speech was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
That intensive support early on was really, really helpful.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Because what we're finding in North America is that, yeah, it's there's a big gap between the teachers that are familiar with DLD. But I have heard like Europe is a lot more open,
Farther
which is
ahead on that.
a little bit further ahead. And then, Mika, you touched on this just a little bit, but I'm curious. You mentioned when you were younger that you often preferred to like spend time alone. When did you start feeling more comfortable, like making friends, or like what age do you think you started to develop friendships?
Yeah, first year, like when I
12.
when I left my primary school, immediately like going into secondary school, I became more confident in myself over time.
That's awesome. Yeah, so secondary school seemed like a really big transformation.
Yeah, it's like in Ireland, it's like the secondary schools have more resources than the primary schools have. To think now, even in primary school, there was no bullying or anything in the class. Like, at the end, like the children accepted her and they did stand up for you, didn't they? And they did, but they spoke for you.
Don't really remember. I kind of, a lot of them just kind of just didn't really talk to me and made fun of me a lot.
Okay. Well, thanks for that. I'm wondering, because a lot of people watching this video are going to be parents of children who are earlier on in their journey with DLD. Mika, do you have anything you would want to say? Like, imagine yourself when you were younger and maybe yourself now. What would you like other parents to know about how to help their kids with DLD?
That's like that, like you can like help them with like speaking for them, but don't
Don't
like
be patient.
but don't like over speak for them. Like say sometimes my mom, she speaks for me when we're in the doctors, but like but like I realized her doing that a lot, it kind of making me realize, I'm always gonna have her, but like I'm not, because like I'll be at age, like I'm not gonna be living with her. So like be patient with your kids, but also let them like learn how to deal with it, like with themselves, but like always should kind of be a rock for them.
And what about like other ways? Remember, you used to have other ways of saying words that you struggled with?
Like also like find, if your kid's like struggling with like one word, find like a different way to say that word for them, so like it'd be easier.
And drawing the pictures is what you want.
Yeah.
Drawing, I love that. Drawing pictures, using others like similar words.
There
Yeah,
was one instance, we went to the supermarket and Mika wanted Nutella, and she couldn't say Nutella. So she said, and I used to kind of push her to ask for things when we were out, to try build a confidence, and she couldn't say Nutella to the shopkeeper. So she said, "Oh, the chocolate for bread." So, other things I can understand, and then what we found, like what myself and our sister found, what was really helpful when Mika was much younger, was we named absolutely everything. So, like, if Mika wanted a drink, we'd be like, "Oh, we'll get you juice out of the fridge and put it in your blue cup." So everything was named, and eventually the repeat came, didn't it?
Yeah.
wow, that's a great technique.
Yeah, really helpful. That's awesome. Now, Mika, what about if a child was watching this video and they had just been told they had DLD? I have two parts to my question. So first of all, what would you tell a child that DLD is? How would you describe DLD to them? And then my second part is, how would you, actually, no, let's start with the first part and then I'll come back to the second part after to keep it easier.
Oh, you would. It's a struggle with your speech.
It's just like kind of like difficulty with your speech and all that.
Trying to get the words out.
Yeah, trying to get the words out.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah.
That's the essence of it, right? That's the gist of what it is. Okay. And then my second part was how did it feel to you when you were told you had DLD? Did you kind of go through a bit of a process? Did your mom explain it? What was that whole experience like of finding out that you had this?
Yeah, I don't really remember. I think,
Yeah,
I think,
because you're so young.
yeah, I think she probably did tell me, and I'm like, okay, can I go back to play?
It's kind of part of your life because it was addressed so early on, right?
Like, I don't really like think. Oh, it's something I don't think about a lot because like, no, I've kind of been dealing with like but everything I can remember. I've been doing it. I've been going to speech therapy. I have been going in a while because I've stopped it.
And then you're very good at reading facial expressions.
Yeah.
So you know when people are confused or you know they don't know what you're saying, so you know you have to step back and sometimes when you're tired your speech can be really bad, can't you? So you know that.
I have to don't talk to people.
Yeah. You've really like gotten to know yourself really well. Um,
Yeah.
did you experience any bullying?
Something at the end of primary school, hard to say.
Yeah, a bit in primary too, but like yeah, it was a lot of times on my speech or just on like other stuff about myself where it was like one like few things that I don't like think back to primary school in a great way, but like in secondary school nobody ever like make fun of my voice at all. Where it's so great. Like somebody have asked about my voice is a boy asking if I was from Scotland because he thought I had an accent. I'm like, no, I'm born in Dublin. Yeah, I'm born in Dublin.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it seems like you. And then what about organized sports? Did you play like on a rugby team or basketball or
She's
yeah.
more dry and poetry.
Yeah, I did basketball for 2 years and I barely remember anything from it.
Right.
Some
And
of us have an easier time than others. Kamisha is excellent with basketball. Me, not so much. So I relate. Yeah.
and but did you say you did poetry?
Yeah, I love to like write poetry. I either like perform the piece I wrote
Wow.
a few weeks back.
Wow. So how did your love for reading help you develop your oral language? Like because you mentioned you really loved reading.
I only been in love reading for like a year now, but I realized like as read like writing, you write in like your own voice. So like
Yeah.
I'm reading other voices and like I read a lot of like old books that have like old English, so I'm like reading them and like I find them easy. Like right
Oh,
now I'm reading to women's and I'm finding it super easy. What other people say, oh, it's hard to read.
wow.
Really
That's awesome.
interesting. Yeah. What other interests do you have or hobbies?
Sure.
I love to draw.
Nice. I love that.
Mhm.
And after secondary school, is it college or university or workplace or some time off?
Hopefully get into college after, like after secondary school.
Awesome. Awesome.
When would that be for you? Because I know, different countries have sort of different ages when they move from one level to the next. So is that soon for you?
It'd be 18 for me.
Oh,
Okay.
18. Okay.
Yeah. And do you have an idea what you want to study in college?
Probably like something like creative, like
Oh, nice.
art.
Yeah. Oh,
Was that
that's
art?
awesome.
That
Yeah,
math?
creative and art. And Stephanie, I'm curious if you had to give a piece of advice to a parent that just recently got the diagnosis that their child has DLD, and you wanted to give them some encouragement, because there are a lot of parents that in our community that are just recently finding out that their child has DLD. And a lot of parents have shared with us that they just feel so hopeless. So I'd love to hear from you on like one or two pieces of advice.
Well, number one, I was guilty of it, and I wish I wasn't. Comparing your kids to other kids, like the big one, it's, and then the little achievements. Like the first time Erin told me she loved me, she was 5, and like I think I cried. So it's the little achievements, comparing your children to other children, and just like still have hope, because they will. Like if somebody told me 10 years ago that Erin would be going to secondary school and thinking about college, I would have never believed them. Never. Erin would be in like special education, the whole lot, and then she done it, like, you know what I mean? So it's just sticking with the speech therapy, which is really important, but also not just going to speech therapy, doing the what you're told to do at home. Like, it's hard to kind of, because they get very, like Mika used to get very tired after it, but you just making an hour every day to do what you're doing at home, even if it's not, you can. And then not comparing your children to other children. That was a big one. That was one that I really struggled with. Especially like your older sister, like, I was like, she was out having full conversations with everyone, and Erin was sitting and like trying to learn how to say words, like, but now Erin has more social skills than her sister has. Like Erin had loads of friends. She had a sleepover. Her friends stayed over, which never happened. She took part in the St. Patrick's Day Parade this year. She was in the parade. She's going to be in our Pride Parade now next weekend. So confidence is growing and growing, like, stop biting your nails.
That's incredible. Yeah, it's such a journey. We've talked to a number of parents recently whose children are 4 or 5 or 6, even a few year olds, and they're sort of where you were at, that you were just describing, and they're saying like, are they ever going to have friends? Are they ever going to be able to get a job? But Mika, you're proof that with time and with hard work, with the speech therapy, and with your mom really being on top of things, right? Helping you, working on things at home, made so much progress. And yeah, I would be so thrilled as a parent to see how far you are on this journey. A lot of them are having difficulty imagining their child getting to this point, but here you are, living proof. I love it.
Yeah. But I never thought we'd get to this point. Never. Like, and now it's like, the confidence is building so much that you even went to the cinema with a friend a while ago. Do you remember, Katie? And got the bus themselves and got the bus home, and like was able to get onto the bus and pay the bus fare, and like I was like in a nervous wreck at home thinking, and then goes to the shop every day. We live right beside like a shop, and goes to the shop every day and is able to get what they need, able to go even to the shop on the way to school, and get what they need.
Wow, that's amazing.
Even going to doctor's appointments, able to like talk to the doctors and stuff. And that's another thing that's brilliant. Like years ago, like doctors weren't too familiar with developmental language disorder, but now they are. So they kind of sit and they're patient with her. Like they give us a little bit longer for appointments and stuff. So it's good.
Wow.
And we started from speech and language, weren't we?
Yeah.
We never thought that would happen.
I love that you touched on the importance of not comparing oneself to, or comparing like your child to other kids. I love that you also touched on doing things at home, and I feel like, Stephanie, you've really taken the time to also educate yourself too, and learn how you best can support Mika. Because I know Janine and I, it's really our passion. Like we truly believe that parents do have the skill, like they do have the capacity to help and support if they have the right tools. And I love that you seem to have, you sought out the tools. You were like, I'm going to figure this out. I want to help support Mika. And I think that's so commendable.
Yeah, a big thing that helped me was we went to see a psychologist when she was younger, and he told me that like Erin will never go to mainstream school, all right? And I was like, but no, he done it to test me. So when Erin went to mainstream school, that was grand. When she went to secondary school, that was grand. So when she went to secondary school, we had an appointment with him again, the same guy. And I was like, you told me she'll never go to mainstream school. And he said, but she did. And he said, and she did because you pushed her. He said, so I was testing you. He said, because I knew you had the strength in you, but you didn't believe in it. And my whole thing was all them years was, I can't wait to see him again to say to him, look,
Your face.
I'll show him.
like he said that every parent has the strength in them to fight for their child and to do what's right for their child. We just don't believe it in ourselves. So like I didn't believe it in myself. I was ready to put Erin into special education and just be done with it. But when he said that sentence to me, I was like, oh, he's not winning. He's not winning. So we done speech therapy. We've hundreds of videos saved of doing speech therapy. We had all the little letters. We done, remember the sizzling state, everything.
Oh my God,
We
yeah.
done everything. And then she was going back and forth speech therapy. And then when she was in the unit, they encourage parents to attend a session every single week, but they understand you can't. Or we made sure somebody was there every week, didn't we? Somebody was there every
My
week.
mom, my dad.
And it couldn't be me or couldn't be your dad, like, and it was a friend or somebody. They were told to record the session so we could watch over and knew what to do. Yeah.
Wow, that is so beautiful. That is
Yeah.
so.
Did we know?
You would know miss one thing.
Wow.
And you don't.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I missed the last thing you said.
It cut out, yeah.
Done all the homework in speech therapy as well. They always gave her homework when she was leaving, and we made sure to do it all.
So yeah, I'm getting that message that persevering, right? Not giving up, believing in your child, and really being dedicated to practice with them at home to get the supports that they need. It's made a huge, huge difference in the trajectory of your life, Mika. And people thought maybe certain things would be too hard, and look at you. It's
Yeah.
very amazing. I think this will be so encouraging to so many families who are at the beginning of their journey. So, yeah, I'm so grateful to you for sharing with us.
Especially because I think when you look online or you Google different things, there's often no testimonial, like there's no testimonial or there's no one that you could see yourself in, and to see like, whoa, okay, someone else did this, I can do this too. So I really,
at the time, like you're talking like it was 11 years ago, Erin's diagnosis, like, so even more with the delays in the speech, there wasn't a lot online for me to look up. So I was constantly comparing them to other people's children and my own, like, do you know what I mean? Constantly. And that was why I was getting like defeated. Like I was like, no, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're not going to succeed. It was just that guy, Graham Conlon was his name. When he said that to me,
I still
I was like,
remember his name.
I remember even what he was wearing that day, and she was only 4. And I can remember what he was wearing that day. And like for the last like 10 years, I've been like, because we moved area at the time, so we moved out of his catchment, but now he's in our catchment. And we had an appointment one day, and there he was, and I was like, "You said that to me," and he was like, "Well, look," and I was like, yeah, like, and he goes, "I said it to you because I knew you had it in you," and like things. So that was really kind of all I had at the time was comparing. I know there's loads of research now, but my people is stay away from Dr. Google. Stay away. Research techniques to do at home, but don't research other people's stories because no.
Yeah, everyone's story is different.
Yeah, so
that's
true.
so
And there's all
good.
these stats out there online about, they're at higher risk for some mental health trouble or so many things that are so depressing. But I feel like once the parents are involved, you can, even if there are mental health struggles, right? You deal with it together and you find ways forward. And I think that's Yeah, so incredible to see what you guys.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
have like just showed what, determination and like love and devotion and advocacy. Like you both should be so proud, so
Yeah.
proud of yourself.
Or another thing to parents actually would be like it's nothing that they done, because like I have two daughters that are 22 months between them, and one daughter has no speech delay and the other daughter did, and I was thinking, was it something I done in my pregnancy? But nothing was different to the other pregnancy.
Yeah.
C-section babies, they were both early babies, they were both 3 weeks early, so nothing was different.
Yeah, I really
Did say to me, oh, it's because you ate spicy food when you were pregnant, or it's because you took paracetamol when you were pregnant. No.
Yeah, that's so true. And so many parents get caught up when they're already in that comparing stage of guilt, right? Oh, I must have done this wrong, or this must be my fault, or am I doing this right? Did I do too much of that? And it doesn't help you move forward, right? You probably had to find a way past that. Plus, you had that one conversation with that psychologist that kind of snapped you out of it almost, right? And so I feel like once parents get to the point where they can accept it and not blame themselves, then they're ready to start to be able to move forward. But when you're trapped in that, yeah, you can't.
Another big thing, actually, sorry, that would be something that would have affected yourself, wouldn't it? You know, if family come over, that like some family, when the young person can't talk, they just ignore them. So don't, because they pick up on it. You know what I mean? And that was a big thing. Like, you know, a lot, like especially the older generation, I found used to kind of go, well, she can't talk, like, and I'm like, no, but she can understand and she can hear you. You know,
Yeah. Be patient. Yeah.
don't ignore them. Still kind of, hi, how are you? How is everything? And then maybe a big thing for me would be, when they find their voice, don't be their voice. I struggled with that, because I spoke for Aaron, for Mika, for so long. When they started speaking, I'd be like, no, don't. Down their voice. You're only their voice for a little while, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good one.
Short time.
Sometimes I actually encourage parents, like, count to 10. Give your child a chance to really get it out. So wait for 10 seconds. And it's so hard. So hard to wait for that long. But sometimes they're going to say stuff that you never would have heard otherwise, right? If you don't give them that chance.
The time.
Yeah, Mika, I
Wow.
wanted to ask you, do you have anything else that you've thought of that you want to share, or do you feel like you've pretty much given us all your thoughts?
Kind of gave you all my thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. We are so grateful. Thank you so much for your time. This has been so powerful just for us. Yeah, for us, and I know our community will be so benefited by this convo.
Thank you so much.
We could be happy we could help.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
Let's stay in touch too. We'd love to touch base with you again in the future,
Yeah.
to see where you're at in your journey.
yeah. And we'd love to. You've been such an awesome resource. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So
So
great.
good. Okay, well, you guys have a wonderful evening, and all the best in the summer.
You too. Enjoy your day. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you guys.